thanks Sally Maer for coming and playing the cello for the Symphony Central Coast concert on the 26th. We're really rapt to have you come and play. For those who don't know this work, can you tell us in your own words a little bit about its history and what it means to you?
Well, Elgar wrote this piece as a really tragic response to the awful loss of the First World War. And this is really his most emotional outpouring of grief, really, more than anything. So it's an incredible piece of music, and it's a great honour to play it. It's a piece that's really close to every cellist's heart. It's a really special piece for any cellist. So it's great to have an opportunity to perform it.
Can you tell us a little bit about your journey and your relationship with the cello?
Sure. Well, beautifully actually, I started the cello when I was really young after listening to Jacqueline du Pré. So my grandparents used to play me recordings of Jacqueline du Pré and the Elgar and other pieces as well. And I apparently asked my parents for quite a long time if I could play this instrument, the picture of this instrument on the cover of my grandparents' records of Jacqueline du Pré. And then after a while, I think they were a bit flummoxed at first. Neither of them were musicians and they weren't sure what to do. And then a friend of mine from nursery school was going to go and have cello lessons, and so I went along with him to his teacher, and that's how it started.
Are there any key moments of the work that have a special significance for you? I think there are favourite little moments and little clips, and I think your favourite bits kind of happen perhaps more when you're listening to someone else playing it, when you can really, not have any kind of high concentration level and stress of yourself performing it. But I think there are some really famous little clips in the Elgar that are possibly everyone's favourite bit. But really, I mean, this is really the ultimate in hearing the piece as a whole. So rather than hearing a movement or two, the whole thing really works amazingly when you hear the whole thing from beginning to end, and all the little bits and the end of the last movement that are reinstated. It's an incredible piece of music. I'm really excited to perform it, and a little bit nervous too. A writer once observed that Jacqueline du Pré seemed to show a deep connection with every single note she played, mesmerising her audience. What thoughts or advice do you have to today's audience who might possibly have a shorter attention span?
Oh, well, the attention span thing is tricky. I mean, I think there are people who come along to concerts who know the piece very well and know how long it's going to take, and know that there has to be some level of concentration and listening involved. And I think people who are new maybe to classical music, or new to orchestras, or new to this piece, it always helps to have a listen to it first. I think if you can get hold of a recording, the more you know it, the more it can affect you, and the deeper the level of understanding, the more you can get out of going to hear a performance like that, I think. And then there are kids who are coming as well who, are still learning to obtain that long stretch of concentration, and I mean that's really good for them to maybe see someone that they know playing as well. I think it's great if you've got students who are coming to see you performing. It can make it a little bit easier for them to last the distance. But certainly I would say to anybody that doesn't know the piece or doesn't really know a symphony concert, to try and have a listen to some of the music before, and they'll just enjoy it that much better. They'll go, oh yes, I know this bit, or this bit's about this, or this piece is about that, and it just gives a little bit more understanding, a little bit more connection. Gosh, dead ones. You know, Rachmaninoff, that would have been nice to have had a cello concerto by Rachmaninoff. Just something really romantic, I think, like that, and really big and lush. And, you know, there are a lot of fabulous Australian composers that I work with, like Sally Whitwell. I'd like Sally Whitwell to write me a cello concerto.
I think it might now be great to see you working closely with the students at Central Coast Grammar School. Let's do that.
Let's do it.
Cello's the best.
So working with and developing young musicians is important to you. Why is it important to work with these very young people?
There are so many reasons. I think, first of all, when JP and I decided to make teaching more a main focus of our musical lives, we realised that it wasn't going to be enough to just start off a 4 or 5-year-old or an 8-year-old on an instrument, that maybe that's not necessarily enough, that we were going to have to get started much earlier than that and get families involved in music who maybe hadn't thought of music, hadn't thought that they might want to follow that path or want that path for their child.
Have you ever been overseas to play a concert?
I have. I've been to see all these stickers on the cello case. So when you turn up at an airport and they put a fragile sticker on your luggage, these are just some of the places that I've been. So I've been to Dubai, I've been to India, and I've been all around Europe, and I've been to Cuba and Japan.
So we're really trying to get more than just the young people involved in a way. We're trying to involve families and have music more as part of their everyday life. But I think the sooner you can get even a little baby or a little tiny tot into music, and it becomes a normal part of their world and their everyday week, it's just really a natural progression then to learn an instrument. And learning an instrument is so much more than just learning an instrument. It's an incredible process. So even if you're not going to become a musician, it just gives you extraordinary life, and it just gives meaning to so much more than just music. And I think that's what's really special to see, and that's what we